Alright, so this is Newland, and so I'm not going to really do a how to play so much. It's just kind of like talk about an overview of it. So this is the board that you'll be doing, and these pieces, can come out, and you can randomly set up the board, kind of like a Catan style, if you want. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a color token to use, these workers, and you're going to get two buildings to start with. This building produces food, and then this building you need to use the food to feed your person so that they could work on creating wood. And so this is kind of just like a game where you use resources to make other resources, and in the end what you're going to want to do is there's these buildings that have these symbols on them, and for each building that has a symbol, there's a number next to it. And what you're going to do is, if you're the person who built that building, you'll put however many the number is here of tokens from your player color onto it. And once you're the person to get rid of all your tokens, you will win the game. So one of the things I'll mention first is kind of the moving track. So everyone's going to start at the same spot, and you can just start them at any one of these little towers, and you're going to put this little marker here. And what's going to happen is there's 10 spots around the board that you can use for this. And what you can do is you can either go as many spots as you want, but you can never go past this marker. So you always have at least 10 moves. So just to explain the moving thing, let's say it was Blue's his turn, and he's going to take 6 actions. So he does one thing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in those he did 6 things out here on the board. All right, then the next person goes, let's say it's yellow, and he does 5. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actions, and then red, he does 10. So he goes all the way around to the last spot. All right, once it's like this, then turn order is just going to be determined by moving this until you get to another person. So it gets to yellow. So yellow's going to go again. So notice, even though blue went first, yellow's getting to go again before blue takes his turn. So yellow can go, you can go up to 10 moves, because you can always go up to this point. Or you could do less. But what you can't do is you can't end where another player is. So if he came over here and his last move he ended up here, he would have to either just move ahead one spot and lose an action but move forward one, or he would just take one more additional action to move ahead. And so after he takes his actions, and this will move here, and then blue would move somewhere on the board, and then this would go, and it would move over here to where red is. So that's just kind of how the actions work for the people. Now you get 2 starting tiles, and the tiles have a terrain that they have to be built on. So there's these forest terrain, these grassland terrains, and these mountain terrains. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 2 starting tiles and you place them on a hex so that the grass is on, or the terrain is on the inside. And so you'll take your guy, and so if I was yellow, I could go here, and if this is starting spot, and have all these guys here. Alright, so yellow could go, okay, action 1, make food. And so you would move him 1 spot. Action 2, I'm going to use my food to make wood. So now I have wood and no food. So now what do I do with my wood? Well, you have all these different building tiles. So I have them separated where everything on this side is stuff you build with wood. This side is stuff you build with stone. And this is stuff you build with stone. And these are all the victory point buildings. So typically the buildings are on this side, so it tells you what you need to build it. But I just separate them so I know, because what it works is there's an input, output. So this, if I build this building, all right, it's going to cost me a wood to build it. So let's say I do that. Let's say I build this, all right. So I'm on the wood. So I use that wood to build this building. So there we go. I built that building. That costs 1 move, or 1 action, and then now I don't have any resources because I used the wood. So I can keep going. So I could do food again, and then I would move him, and then I could do use my food to make wood, and then I would move him again, and then I could use the wood to make coal over here, and then I would come over here and I would get a piece of coal. And you can see, like in this building, you need this resource plus coal to make this resource. So that's pretty much what it is. You just grab buildings and you see what resources you need. So basically you work the game backwards. If these are the buildings you need to build to win, like this needs stone to be built to get this, and then if you go under it, it needs, you know, these, it needs a sword, a cloth, and food, and this one needs like cloth and whatever this is. And then if you build that, then the next one's revealed and you need tool, and the next one's this. So if I was looking at this, I want to build this building, I go, okay, I need cloth, this stuff, and coal. Well, then I would come over here and I'd figure out, well, what produces cloth? I go, okay, this building produces cloth, and what do I need cloth? I need this. Well, how do I get that? Well, this makes that, you know, and so you just kind of figure out what you need to build to make. So the thing that kind of makes the conflict of the game is when you build these buildings, they're not yours. They're just built in the area and everyone can use them. So let's say he went here and then he built coal and then his turn ended. And so now it's Blue's turn. Blue could just come here and use this building to get food, this building to get wood, and then he can come over here and he could say, okay, with the wood I'm going to buy this building because it takes wood to construct it, and he's going to construct it, you know, here, let's say. All right, so now then he uses this for food, wood, and now he gets this paper. And of course you're moving your movement piece around the track. Well, he could stay here and let's say there was a building that needed, let's say let's see. Let's just say that this building was built. All right, so it was on the terrain, and so you needed coal and this white resource, and you can go to this building to get coal, right? Because it produces coal. But if he's here, let's say he's here, and it's Red's turn, and Red has, let's say Red already has this resource, and he needs coal. It would be easy if Red could make food, then wood to coal. However, he can't use this building because somebody's on it. So what you kind of have to do is plan how you're going to build things, but then where you're going to stop in the building process so that other people can't use those buildings to get the resources. Like, you know, if this is a valuable resource, this cloth, well, there's only 2 buildings that produce cloth. So maybe you end your turn where you have both of your guys on these buildings, so nobody on their turn can produce cloth. But the thing that happens is, at the end of the turn or at the beginning of your next turn, whichever way you want to play it, you lay down your guy. All right, and so then when it's your turn again, if you haven't used this person, he goes away and it makes the building available again. So you can't just leave them there forever. Some other things that happen is if you build something. All right, let's say he was going to use the coal and he was going to produce in this building. All right, if you're going to build in something adjacent to where you are, it's free, just do it. All right, but if you have to cross over a terrain, he tried to cross over one terrain here, that's going to count as a move action. All right, and each time you produce something, it costs money. This building takes 2 resources. So if the building that produced this was here and the coal was here, then you would have to move one guy from here and one guy from the building here. You would need 2 guys, and you need to move them here. The movement value is just whatever's furthest away. So because this one is next to it, it's not the furthest away one. This building is next to it, so it would cost 1 point to get over here, to take the resource here, and then another point to produce. The production and movement is kind of confusing at first, but you can get the hang of it. This version is the newer version, and it comes with these tiles that people recommend not using because they're not in the first edition. These 3 things kind of give you actions for free. It helps you if someone blocks what you're doing, but kind of the whole conflict and point of the game is the blocking aspects. They're really, I think they take away from the game. This is an alchemist cove where you can kind of, if you have these resources, you could produce anything you want. Again, it hinders the ability to block people, which is what really makes any of the conflict in the game. So nobody really plays with these if they want to play the game as it was originally designed. And that's kind of a quick overview of it, of how it works, and hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.